that?
Sure. I'm Layla, and I'm honored to be here with Jeff and Kay. I'm so happy that they decided to join. Just because at first this was going to be just an hour of me talking, and Jeff and Kay are very pivotal in my journey with Oracle, and I'm really grateful that they're here, kind of helping share my journey and share my story. Um, but yeah, I guess I'm known as Layla.sql on Twitter. Um, but yeah, I guess I have nothing more for my introduction. That sounds about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, let's start with you, Layla. So Layla, you are known as Layla, right? Layla.sql on Twitter, and you have
Yes.
the following, right? So can you tell us about how you landed at Oracle? We know Jeff shared a little bit of that, but you have your journey too. So feel free to kick it off, girl.
Well, so my journey in getting into Oracle is definitely, I guess it would say it's a little unique. But initially I didn't even know about Oracle database up until about, I guess, spring 2022. And that's when I was taking database product management at school. And the curriculum was using Oracle database, which I had never really used or interacted with at all whatsoever in my degree yet. Um, and it was an in-person class, which was really cool. We just kind of came off of COVID online classes, so it was really nice to get back into the computer lab and actually get hands-on in-person experience. So I was taking database programming with Oracle database, and I really was vibing with it a lot. I loved the command line. I loved the actual SQL developer application. I just felt compared to like Python, C++, Java, it felt like it was just really easy to get started with. It just felt like there was not a lot of like not a hard learning curve for it. Um, so I had my Twitter at the time as well, so I started tweeting about it pretty frequently, really frequently. Kind of just sharing pictures of my kind of my computer, my code, kind of what I was using SQL with for certain projects. Um, and I started tweeting obviously about Oracle database, and I was like, I might as well just start interacting with people that tweet about Oracle database and create content for it like all the time. I might as well just start surrounding myself with that. So I did, and I went in the little search bar on Twitter, and I was like Oracle database, Oracle SQL, and the first few names that popped up, I remember was Jeff. And I had no idea that he was a product manager working there, actually working there. I did not know that. So I was like, oh, cool. This guy's literally only tweeting Oracle database stuff. I was like, I'm just going to follow, start interacting because he was
You
putting out a
sound like
lot
a
of.
loser. He has no life. It's just all SQL.
No, no, but that was like your main, you're like, that's your niche. You know, a lot of creators on Twitter kind of had their niche, whether it be JavaScript, SQL, CSS, HTML, whatever it may be, Java. And so his niche was Oracle SQL. So I started kind of interacting with some of his content. I noticed that he was putting out a lot of stuff about updates. And I remember tweeting this one reply to one of his tweets, and I was like, I just really love Oracle database. I was like, I love what what you guys are doing. I really am passionate about, SQL in general, just because of Oracle database. And then I remember Kay actually replied to my tweet, and she was like, we love your enthusiasm. Like, we love it. And I was like, oh my God, wait. And then I check her bio, and she also works at Oracle. And I was like, how did I find myself here? Just by like not even networking, just kind of sharing my excitement for a certain topic and finding other like-minded individuals that also are excited about that same topic. Um, and then I guess maybe, I don't know when it was, maybe a few days later, maybe same day, I can't remember. But Kay slid into my DMs and she said, oh my God, I'm really digging your enthusiasm and your passion. And she was like, would you maybe be like interested in coming to intern here at Oracle? And I remember going to my husband and I was like, is this real? I was like, do you think this is real? I was like, feels so good to like too good to be true almost. But if it's real, I'm like, I was just off the walls because I was like, I feel like this is real. And I was like, okay, calm down. I think this is real. And I replied and I said I would just be over the moon to join. And I was like, I don't know how it can help. You guys are already doing such amazing things. But I will try in all my power to provide any sort of amount of value that I can provide. And they really vouched hard for me to join the team. I remember internship started in May, and I had gotten into contact with them around March. And I'm sure all of you guys know that interns and are really set far back, not far back, but a good few months before May. So they really sped up the process and got me onboarded, and they were really big advocates for me, and I'll always eternally be grateful to them for that 100%.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think it's really cool that you allowed yourself to depend on your curiosity to learn more about Oracle, like its database and SQL, and you followed content creators like Jeff, right? Jeff, you're that Jeff, and you just authentically shared what you were learning with others. So, not everyone does that. So it's really cool that you went ahead and became a self-starter in that sense and just did it. And it was through Twitter.
I
Who gets to
know.
hear that? Like, who gets to hear that? I was
Twitter
able
too.
to
It's like
read
the best
it.
story.
I know. It's like really neat.
I
So,
I
remember
mean,
talking to you. Go ahead,
that's
Jeff.
what I remember about Layla was you were authentically sharing stuff to help your classmates. And the enthusiasm that everyone is seeing here was somehow translating to a 2D space of online, and it wasn't fake. And you were creative about it too. It wasn't just that you were creating cheat sheets and stuff. You were like adding artwork to it and flair and personality, and you were consistent about it. And yeah, it
I
was just
tried.
like this dynamo out there I was trying to grab and not crush and kill before we could get it inside here and use you.
awesome. So, Layla, what sparked that path? Like, everyone has a path that they go on. So, that path that you're on today, what sparked it?
Oh, okay. This is so funny. Well, so I guess when I was about 12, I always knew I wanted to do something. I guess I didn't even know as a 12-year-old, you don't really have, you can't really put names to certain things because you don't have that experience yet. But my dad's always been an engineer at Dell, a hardware and storage engineer. And so very early on, he, would bring home laptops for me and set me up a PC, a Dell PC, and really nurtured kind of like the technical side of myself, which I'm always going to be really grateful for. But I started a blog when I was about 12. I did a little HTML and CSS for it once I was able to save up for a domain name. I remember being 12 and having a little notebook I made like a makeshift pocket with construction paper and would put dollar bills in it from chores so I could, try to buy a website domain. But it was for Club Penguin. I don't know if anybody here it's Club Penguin's long gone, but it's this really fun game. It was for obviously kids, but I got into content creation for that. Not even really knowing what content creation was at the time, being 12. But I really nurtured a passion for writing, for helping people, kind of helping others, kind of broken down in little steps, kind of, where do you find this secret item, or how do you do this in the game? How do you do that kind of content? Which is kind of what I do now in a way, which is funny. So it feels like it's kind of come for full circle in that aspect, which is fun to look back on. But being 12 years old, I had this website. It's still live, and I like to go and reminisce on it every now and again. It's got about like 30,000 views or 40, something like that. But
So funny.
I know I always forget that I even had this at some point. I always think that kind of like my my path started with computer science in college, but then I kind of remember, oh wait, I've always really been interested in coding and content creation, and just trying to help others, trying to, I guess, not share my experience, but break things down for people and communicate to people how I understand things in my own words. Because I feel like once I understand something, I'm able to really break it down in little bite-sized niblets, and as best to my ability, of course.
Yeah.
But I guess I've always been doing that, so it's just funny. I guess that's kind of how I got started.
I think, Layla, one of the things in when Jeff pinged me, because once he started engaging with you, because I was following him, I was like, oh, who is this young lady? And she's got sequel in her name. What you started doing at 12 was living your life with your hands open instead of in a tight fist. Content creators, branding, when your brand is to help others and ultimately to solve Oracle's macro problem, right? We need advocates, we need influencers, we need 1,000 Jeffs, right? Out there telling our customers, because I can say it, my boss Jenny can say it, Andy Mendelson can say it, but when it comes from those outside of the internal Oracle ecosystem, customers are going to pay attention. And so I think the fact that you did it, and what you did, whether you realize it or not, was you built a community. And I still follow you, and I watch your Twitter, and the folks who you're engaging with, they've come to depend on the tools, the tips, and all of that you're providing. So you were acting like a product manager before you even were a product manager. And I think that's part of the reason why both of us were like, interesting.
That's a really good way to put it, Kay. I never even thought about it like that, honestly.
We all could learn something from it, right? Especially in this era. So it's tough now. It's tough to move and switch and find different areas of the company. And when people come and they ask me, okay, what can I do? And I say, well, are you doing it? Well, I don't have the job. Well, but if you do the job, even before you have it, people will take notice, right? The leaders in the organization will say, wait a minute, who is at Layla's sequel? So it's a great lesson for all of us to learn, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, those are factual statements, Kay. And, I think everyone needs to really be aware of like how your voice and your skill sets can really do for others, right? Layla, you started at a young age and you created content, and you're always there to share those secrets, right? And, sometimes those secrets go a long way, and they can help someone, either kick off their journey or help them in their current journey. So that's, that's great. And, as a woman in tech, what are some of the ways you look to empower your audience?
Well, this is a good question. I guess going on Twitter in 2021, and gaining a following pretty faster than I ever thought I would. I honestly just made the Twitter just to get excited about my degree again, just to kind of surround myself with like-minded people that, it was 2021, mid-COVID, everybody was, not feeling very driven or passionate. We're all stuck inside. So I kind of made that to try and surround myself with other people that kind of felt the same, but really still wanted to have an engineering degree, career, and really pursue coding full time. So coming into social media, you don't really realize the stigmas and kind of a lot of the mindsets that some people subconsciously have in regards to women in tech. But with me and my following, I feel like the number one thing that I've always tried to do is to be authentic and to be honest and to be vulnerable. Because I feel like on social media, a lot of people only share the positives or the happy things or the good things. They don't really share when they struggle. So I feel like especially now getting close to 50,000 followers. I feel like it's almost my duty to try and empower women that I'm surrounded by, and in real life, my friends and people I've grown to connect with online and at Oracle, and people that follow me and I've never even interacted with, and empowering them and reminding them that I feel like there's space for all of us in tech. A lot of women have the subconscious idea where we're all in competition, that there's only a certain amount of women that are allowed in tech, and I feel like that is just kind of society almost making us feel that way, because we know that there's already not a lot of there's a good amount gender gap, but reminding everybody that there's plenty of space in tech for all of us, and one woman or one man or someone else's successes will not take away from your own. Instead, I feel like it's super valuable to cheer others on, and if you found success, share how you've amounted to that success. Break it down and share the formula. The one thing I hate most is gatekeeping. I will never ever gatekeep how I've done anything or what I've done to get to where I am. Just because I would hate if someone did that to me. I've always lived with treat others how you want to be treated, kindergarten saying. But when you share how you amounted to like a certain success or a certain job or something, what you did to reach where you're at, you can help others kind of see, like, wait, I can do that too. Like it's not rocket science. It's actually not rocket science, because some people will see on the outside, and me, for example, and think, oh my God, oh my God, like it's just so hard, where it's not, it's actually not. It's anybody can do what I've done. And I feel like that's the most empowering thing about social media for me, is paying kind of my good fortune forward, because I've had so much good fortune in the last year with Jeff and Kay and everybody I've gotten to know at Oracle. So I feel like that's been the main thing for me, is kind of paying that success forward, paying that good fortune forward.
Yeah, and that's a powerful phrase, right? Like, pay your good fortune forward. And I agree with you. Sometimes we do forget that we are in an industry where there is a kind of a bit of a gender gap, and as stated before, everyone's growing at their own pace, and whether you're able to help kickstart that or help their current journey, it goes a long way. And you do that simply by sharing it through social media. And you see that everyone has all these accounts, and some people use them, some people don't. But think about the times where those people who don't use it, and when they do, you're there to kind of help and share your knowledge still, and it's still out there. It's still able to be viewed and to be acknowledged and achievable and attainable, and you're showing that it is possible. So that's great. So Layla, you've done that continuously for many years, for almost a decade, right? Like, we're doing it.
Little
And
penguin.
yeah. So no gatekeeping, growth opportunities is a great way to empower others, whether at work, home, or online. So bravo, girl, you're doing it.
Thank
He's a
you.
rock
You're so
star.
sweet, Cece.
Yeah. And Jeff, obviously Layla's content caught your attention. So what was it about it that really drew you in and like encouraged you to engage?
I mean, just her vibe is like not talking about what I'm doing, but honestly trying to help people first. When I was a kid, I read the Nintendo Power magazines to get the cheat codes, and like she was saying, she was just kind of still sharing the cheat codes online. I'm guessing one of the reasons she does that is because it helps her learn the content.
Mm-hmm.
And also you get a nice ego bump when it says, oh, hey, someone helped me, I can't remember if I found her natively, because I kind of troll people tweeting about Oracle. If I saw her and someone's had found her first and retweeted her, and I found her that way. But I kind of feel like I've been following her for 10 years anyway, so I can't even really remember what it was like before we crossed paths. Nah, I mean, she's just like a one in a, I mean, I feel like she's got a 10-year head start on most kids in school. Sorry, I don't mean to call you a kid, Leah. Most students in school. Um, because not just that, but you can't teach someone personality, and you can't teach someone generosity, or at least you can't teach them directly. I think there's some innate personality things that are just kind of hit all the magic checklist items you'd want, and someone doing this kind of stuff for us.
Yeah. So when you recognized that within Layla and you invited her to be an intern, I would imagine that you would want it to be meaningful. So what expectations did you set as yourself as a manager to provide that for her here at Oracle?
Well, I couldn't screw it up, because if I did, 960 other people would hear about it nonstop. So
No pressure.
um, but also I had a college internship back in the day, and it went really poorly for me. And I was like, I do not want that to happen to anyone else. And I was somewhat new to being a manager, and like Kay, who's like manager maestro. I have a couple of direct reports. I'd never had interns before. So my biggest challenge first was figuring out what Layla wanted to do. Because selfishly, I was like, I want to turn Layla into a product manager and have her just go out and cheerlead for us. But also, she's theoretically studying to be a software engineer, and we make really cool tools here. So first thing was like figure out what she wants to get out of the program, and then match her up technically with a good manager here on the team, so I could be her like day-to-day person, making sure her experience here is doing okay, but have a technical manager that can really guide her, help her grow, put her in a position to work on something cool, and come out at the end with something to point to and say, hey, I helped build that. By the way, Layla, I think the published date for your feature is next Friday. Well, we don't release on Fridays, so like next Thursday.
No way.
Well, we don't publish release dates. The reason Oracle doesn't publish release dates is because we're always wrong. Give or take a week. Next week,
Okay.
your feature.
That's
So a lot of good old-fashioned guilt was driving me to make sure that she had a good experience, because I was like, I don't want to be responsible for this awesome person to come in and just have a bad taste in her mouth when she came back or when she left. And the other thing, I mean, how could you not want to like have her have a kick-ass time here? I mean,
Yeah.
Again, it was like she wasn't begging for a job. We were recruiting
begging her
the whole time, and it's like, okay, well, what do we need to do to make sure that A, she gets something really good out of this, and B, we get as much as we can out of that 3 months that we have her.
Okay. Wow, I feel like you don't really hear that often, like from a manager. Like my goal is to make sure my intern has a great experience, so they can come back. So, you were able to attract Layla. I mean, Layla was already naturally attracted to Oracle, but you were able to attract her to, the team, and not just that, but it seems like she's more than happy to stay and be a part of it, right, Layla? Right?
Oh yeah. I remember last summer I was I guess at some point I was kind of bugging Jeff. I was like, I want to come back next summer, right?
Oh yeah, she
Like,
started like the second week asking about how to get back the next year.
Yes, she was bugging me too. I was
Oh yeah,
like, did you
hey, where's
ask
my
your
offer
manager?
letter? When are they going to call me? No, it was great. And
But
we
you know
also
what
had
she was doing? She was advocating for herself, which is an important skill to learn.
absolutely,
Mhm.
in a non irritating or
Yep.
an annoying way.
that's key. Don't be annoying.
But
Don't be annoying.
I mean, I think my team had a really big unfair advantage compared to some other teams, in that we were able to invite Layla to come help build the tools that she was using in her class. So like there was a real immediate practical application of what she was doing in academic world and what she was doing in real world, and what she could even take back to academic world. And the stuff that she was tweeting about and building the spreadsheets, or the not spreadsheets, the cheat sheets for, were the very things that my team's responsible for. So I don't know if that intoxicated her, even got her more excited. I don't know if you could get her more excited, but
It's always
Well,
possible.
yeah. And and Kate, and as yourself, like being a content creator, for Lashes Love Tech, what was your reaction like to learn that Oracle was going to be coming to Oracle? Like she was like, "Yes, I'm coming."
So the interesting part, so I'll tell you a little bit more about the story about me sliding into her DM. So Jeff said, hey, that young lady who we were having the conversation back and forth, can you message her? Because it'd be kind of strange if he slid into her DM. So I was like, oh, sure. But before doing that, what I did was I looked to see what her footprint was on the internet. And I mean, Layla, I want to use this time, and the folks who are listening to you, you've got so many gems and so many nuggets that others can use for their jobs here at Oracle right now, and for people who are listening on the recording. So I looked at her brand, and I was like, she's pretty good. There's some things that I can learn about that, because your personal brand, especially in this digital world, we are these squares. So when I messaged her and I said, hey, hop on my Zoom, would love to chat with you, send me your resume. I want to make sure that when you are going to Jeff, that you're putting your best foot forward. And she did it. She had it. To see her do what many of us struggle to do, right? If you're watching, ask yourself, how often am I engaging, posting on even LinkedIn, right? When you look at my brand, do you see that I have a passion or even an interest for what I'm doing on a day-to-day? And if you really can't answer those questions, or if the answer is no, not really, I was coaching someone yesterday, and I said, I don't see you on LinkedIn. Oh, I don't get on social media. LinkedIn's not social media. It is literally your calling card. So if your calling card is blank, or if you are not doing care and feeding for that calling card in the way that Layla is, there are opportunities like the one that Layla had last year and now this year. And I mean, and look at the way that it's changed the arc of her life, all by her going and putting herself out there and helping others and solving Oracle's macro problem that she didn't even know that she had. So I was super duper impressed with what she was doing. And of course, I wanted to lean in and know more.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I wish I could add like two little crowns and for you too, Jeff, on everyone, to understand that, yeah, it's important to like nail out that personal brand of yours and always make sure that you're not just like in front of the line or like showing the audience, but you're just always reminding yourself and refreshing your memory about what you're learning and how it can be applied, and sharing it, and just connecting with other people in that way. Like there's a whole another world on being able to connect, and obviously we all have to adapt to this new um, digital virtual environment. So how can you do that, and how can you do it successfully, and how can you make sure you're still being noticed and um, apparent, and just yourself? So that's amazing to hear. So Layla, they have great things to say about you, so we're doing great so far.
Thank God. Oh, I was
Yeah.
worried. Just kidding.
And Kay, so you're a women leader in tech, and how did you build a relationship with Layla, and why was that important throughout her tenure here when she was here last summer?
So when she got here, right, so she was not working for me, but I had one or two interns last year who were working inside of my organization. I looked at Layla as an extension. So I was doing two things, and I don't think Jeff and I have ever really talked about this, but I was watching and sort of on the sidelines, ensuring that Layla's experience here at Oracle was a positive one. There aren't very many women in my organization. You cannot be what you can't see. So Jeff wanted her to have a great experience. I also wanted her to have a great experience here at Oracle. But I was also partnering and talking to Jeff to ensure that, you know, that he was taking care of Layla. It was important for me. It was important that this was successful because it would open the door for more. We can't, and Layla, you mentioned something. You said that there's space for everyone. And on Lashes Love Tech, and just in my normal mentoring and coaching, there doesn't have to be just one or two women. The world is 50-50. Actually, it's 51% women, 49% men, but we won't talk about that. And which means our customers, our users, our buyers are not 98% men. They are 50-50 or some sort of mix. So it is important for us to have diversity of thought. It is important for us to have diversity of ideas. Layla's approach to solving a problem is going to be different than some other person's approach to solving a problem. So having all of those different ideas is actually going to make Oracle a much stronger company as a whole and make us able to relate to our customers. Our customers and our buyers are changing. And so we've got to change with them.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. And Jeff, how did you feel to know that you and Kate were working simultaneously to provide Layla this great experience?
It's not an accident that I came to know and be close to Kay. I could tell that she was awesome and I wanted her to be in my orbit. So I don't know if I stalked her or I'd made the right joke on the right Zoom call or what, but I want to be near that positive energy here at Oracle. And if I find someone that I think is doing great things, I'm going to steal all that stuff and use it for myself and just add them to my network. And I can't remember how or why I asked Kay to reach out to Layla, but I knew without saying it out loud that what would happen. Because obviously I'm not in a position to like help Layla navigate all of the stuff that I don't have to worry about being a tall white dude. I can go run at night and not worry about stuff. I can post whatever I want on Twitter and not worry about stuff. Layla doesn't have those advantages that I have. So I wanted to make sure she had a good, positive, not even just female, but like diverse network here at Oracle, and not just me. So plus she's big enough to share across the org. We don't need to hog her to ourselves on the database tools team.
Yeah. And, you know, all three of you promote yourselves through your content. So like Layla, Jeff, and Kay, from being on different levels, you know, I think it would be great if you can share with the audience how you guys stay true to yourselves individually and how that comes all together on a team.
Who wants to go first?
Should we go oldest
Nose
first?
goes.
Oh, if we go oldest, it's got to be you, Jeff.
It'll be by a couple months. You go first, Larry. You go first.
All right. So, okay. I guess this kind of ties into what I said a few minutes ago. How I stay true to myself is just basically being brutally honest and vulnerable and real and but unapologetically. Obviously, if I hurt someone's feelings, an apology is due. But if I'm just trying to be myself on social media, share my journey in the candid way that I want to share it, I'm going to. And I realized with the internship that is actually a superpower. I grew up, you know, I guess growing up as a woman, you really, you know, you see someone who's really successful and you're like, oh my God, how did they do that? And you try to mimic what they're doing. And you just try to just kind of almost, you know, do a carbon copy of them and what they're doing. And getting older, I realized that it's actually a superpower to be able to be comfortable in your own skin and basically just like shout into the ether and not care if anyone replies or not, or if anyone cares or not, or if anyone, you know, doesn't take the time of day to even read it. That's fine, because I'm posting this. I want to post this. This aligns with my passions. It aligns with my interests. And I feel like that's a characteristic that, not, I guess social media, in my opinion, still is getting better at. I feel like a lot of people on social media kind of lose themselves and trying to really garner a following and trying to, mimic others that do have a following. But my best advice is just I guess social media is funny to me because like you see someone very successful like me. When I started early on Twitter, I saw all these people with a lot of followers. And so I started just mimicking. And I realized that wasn't getting me any followers. So I said, okay, what can I do that's different? What can I provide that's different than what most creators are providing right now? And that's me. Layla has never been on Tech Twitter before. It's called Tech Twitter, the community. But I've never really tried to share my coding journey on Twitter before. So why don't I just lean into that? And like I said, just kind of make that my superpower. I feel like staying true to yourself unapologetically is on social media is really tough. But if you're able to do it, I feel like so many unexpected opportunities will come your way. And I can speak from experience because this has all happened because one day I decided just say screw it, and I'm gonna go all in on posting cheat sheets, posting Twitter or tweet threads, whatever I need to do to put out the content that I want to put out. I'm going to do it. And if someone doesn't like it, they can block me, or they can do whatever they need to do, but this is what I want to do, and this makes me happy. I feel like remembering that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea is key, because I'm definitely not everyone's cup of tea. I've come to realize on Twitter, but you don't take it personal. As I've grown older in this journey, I've stopped taking things as personal, versus when I started in 2021 with Twitter. But thinking about what the main thing a creator is doing to bring themselves engagement in a truly dedicated following, and it's usually that those people are following them because they like them, they're unique, that they're the 1 in a million person that on Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook, etc. You are the only you in the world, and I feel like a lot of people forget that. But sharing your genuine, unique experiences are key. No one wants a carbon copy of someone else's experiences or journeys. And I've always said since I started Twitter, don't try to measure yourself with someone else's ruler, because it's always don't try to fit yourself in someone else's box, or it's always not going to work. So just lean into being uniquely yourself. That was long, sorry.
No, that was perfect, Layla. That was great. So I appreciate hearing, to always stay true unapologetically to yourself. So I think those are strong words and a good thing to stand by and be for, even if it's just for yourself, which is one of the most important things, right? Especially if you're going to be on social media and you have people who like you and you have people who don't. So
yep, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next?
Mm-hmm.
Do we go by age, Jeff? Then
Kay's very glad that I'm the only me out there. She's glad that no one else can be me. One of me is enough for her to deal with. I have 2 rules when I produce content. It has to be useful to me, and it has to make me laugh. And if I get past those 2 check boxes, then I just put it out there. So most of what I'm writing is for my own, it's my own cheat sheets, and I just happen to hit save for everyone to see. And I have to put my sense of humor in there because otherwise I would go crazy, because I don't have anyone to tell my jokes to because I work from home. And I've been married for 23 years and my wife has already heard all my jokes. So I need a bigger audience. So that's pretty much it.
I mean, I love it. It's great. It's funny. And that's how you stay true to yourself, right? So, luckily your wife has many people who are ready to listen because she has
Yeah,
3 years.
you can't fake it for that long, that consistently. It would be harder to fake it consistently for a long time than to just be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. What about you, Kay?
So there's a quote upstairs that I have for my kids, and it's be yourself, everyone else is taken. Jeff, you just said it. You can't fake it that long. So, I find that when I'm on social media, who I'm engaging with people who I think, oh, I could actually have a conversation with them. They seem open. That authenticity and vulnerability, what we're really saying is just another word for truth. So for me, 2022, when I started it, I don't normally do resolutions, but it was my year of being bold. And instead of just walking by every time I got my coffee, that be yourself, everyone else is taken. When I really took a step back, I realized I wasn't being my true self. And I also am not everyone's cup of tea, like Layla mentioned, but I don't have to be, because I just need to be the cup of tea for whoever is interested. So I'm a people builder. I'm a leader builder, right? I like to push other people forward and challenge them to be their 100% full selves. And so here's the thing, leave no doubt, put it all out there, be careful, but put it all out there and see what happens, because you really never know what the future will spell out if you don't try. And so when I'm building content, if I'm interested in it and I think that it might help 3 or 4 people, I put it out there. Because if it helps 3 or 4, and then those 3 or 4 people help another 5, there's a magnification factor that happens. And I mean, I think ultimately, Layla, that's what you're doing. You are magnifying your effect on the world. You can tell I really like her.
Mm-hmm.
She should really like be my daughter. I didn't have any girls. If I had one in my mind, she would be Layla.
I'm absolutely honored. Okay, I could qualify as Kay's daughter. I'm done. I'll see myself out. That's it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys all share that common theme of just being true to yourself. And we appreciate how you guys were all willing to share how you guys do that individually. And it sounds like that's what brings you guys whole as one, right? You guys all have your own persons and own personalities and own ways of being authentic, and it shines bright. And it doesn't seem like they're overpowering each other, but they're just gleaming all together. So that's a strong sun to have. And with that being said, we want to leave the room for Q&As for the audience, because I'm sure we have many people on here who would love to ask you guys questions. So we're gonna give the rest of the time. We have about 8 minutes for Q&As. So I guess I can kick it off too. Layla, what's your Twitter? It's Pilates Dev.
Wait, you're on mute.
Uh-huh.
Layla, you're on mute. Oh, thanks. Okay. Yep. It's not, wait, yes, it's Pilates Dev. But I need to change it because it confuses people how it's Layla.sql and then Pilates Dev. So I need to do some thinking about that. Okay.
We're gonna do that. Let's see. I feel like. Oh, also, if you do have any questions, feel free to just hop off mute too. I know Sophia sent it out there, but
Yes, shout it out.
Mhm.
Thanks, Michael.
Lashes Love Tech is awesome.
I guess I do have a question. So for the hater, like, how do you guys, I'm sure we all have haters right on social media. So how do you guys respond to that? Like, how how do you cope with,
Not well.
oh,
If you
well,
start fighting with me, my first response is to hit right back, and that's not good.
yeah,
Oftentimes, I'll like ping Kay. I'll be like, "Check what this guy said. He's going to make me upset," and then she talks me down.
It's okay. It's okay.
No clapbacks. It's not gonna work.
If I find a way, I can find a way to like respond in a fun manner that's not disrespectful, but also shows that I'm listening. I'll try to do that, and if I can't find a way to do that, I'll just say I'm sorry. And if my best interactions with people that come across with like high negative energy almost always have positive outcomes, because if you're reaching out and you're that upset, you care. And so it's just a matter of like getting them to flip that switch such that they have that same amount of caring, but they have a positive take on it. So oftentimes people are shocked when someone at Oracle actually responds to the hate in a way that's just not, oh, well, you're ugly too, So when I have the discipline to do that, like 90% of the time, I can get them from like being upset to at least happy that someone tried to help them.
Because hurt people, right? So a lot of times I try not to take it. When Jeff reaches out to me, I'm like, Jeff, don't take it personal. They may be having a bad day, something may have happened, and they're taking it out on the keyboard. So, having that one-on-one a lot of times will diffuse it.
But that's the dark side of like, I don't want people to think that, oh, if I just go be myself online, it's like a jump pass go ultimate success right away. I mean, I do trade some success that I've had in my career with some personal like issues dealing with always being online, always being available, and getting the negative stuff too. And I find myself being grumpy with my family sometimes, and it's like, oh, dude, you can't help everyone that's wrong on the internet. Save that for work.
Yeah.
So you got to find some like on-off switch. Like when you're not at work, just put that stuff down. And that's stuff that I still struggle with today. So I don't know if I have a great answer to that question, but you got to recognize it at least.
yeah, yeah. And
I remember, sorry, go ahead, Cece.
no, go girl.
I was just gonna say, I remember when last summer, Jeff had noticed I was getting a little bit of hate. I don't remember what for. Sometimes I just get hate for the dumbest things. I swear to
Like
God.
your haircut? Was that what it was?
Huh?
They didn't like your haircut?
No, wait, you don't?
Jeff,
I'm just teasing.
But he was like, he's like, just block them. And I was like, you don't know how hard that is for me. Just to walk away from someone just pooping on your Oracle internship just because they don't like Oracle and they just think it's so dumb. But it's like a skill you learn just to block and not even feed into it at all, especially when you have like thousands and thousands of people watching your responses.
you have to protect your energy.
Yeah.
It's
So
easy to give this advice. It's really hard to listen to your own advice sometimes.
yeah.
And all that negative energy that you got, 90% of that was just jealousy. I'm pretty sure 90% of it was jealousy.
Probably. But sometimes it's hard to walk away from a day on social media and you're like, oh God, people don't like me. Or like but I remind myself not to take anything personal because people on Twitter, they don't know me personally. They only know whatever I put out is the only factual information they have to deduct any sort of idea of me. So I feel like that's the main thing about social media. You can be honest, you can be blunt, you can be yourself. Some people won't like it at all. Like they'll hate it. And that's totally okay. But some people like Jeff and Kay that found me will love it. So it's I guess it's a give and take. But
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys being able to have this event today. And Layla, we thank you for, just being here at Oracle and, not just being a part of Oracle, but what you do outside of Oracle. Because if it wasn't for what you did outside of it and just being yourself, we might have never found you.
I know, that's crazy to think about too, because I consider Jeff and Kay and almost everybody that I've gotten really close with at Oracle is just, they mean a lot to me. And it's cool how just from last year, how much everything has changed, and I credit Kay and Jeff to that so much. And I honestly, I couldn't picture anywhere else to kick off my career. I'm just so incredibly grateful to be a part of Oracle. I don't think people even realize how excited I am to be here. I try to tone it down and keep it chill, because sometimes, like I said, I'm too much for people, but I am absolutely stoked to be here. So I'm very grateful.
You don't even need an account on LinkedIn anymore. Just take that down, and if recruiters call, you say, hey, I got that taken care of. I'm all good.
Oh, don't worry, dude. Oracle's already got it. Sorry. You missed the mark.
Yes, well, thank you, because you guys really made the art of the possibility really happen. So thank you.
Well, thanks
Kate,
to everyone for
Jeff,
coming.
Layla. Yeah, so thank you. And this is this is Jeff's, Kay and Malcolm's, Jeff Kay and Malcolm, Jeff Kay and Layla's information and where you could find them and follow them online. So feel free to do so. Watch their content, just learn from them, and thank you for everyone for joining us today.
Thanks, Cece, for setting it up.
Yeah,
Be well,
thank you,
everyone.
Cece.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Jeff. Bye, Kay. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye, Cece.